Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Speaker Insight, where we help speakers, authors, and coaches to build a business on your terms. And you'll notice that the lovely Helena isn't here today. She's on a sound retreat, but we have a beautiful replacement for her. This is Rachel Allen, and we're going to be diving into the world of copy today. So I know this is going to be one that really relates to all of our avatars of speakers, authors, and coaches, because you can't run a business without having some copy. So I know normally we go live on a 1 o'clock every Tuesday, but because Rachel's based in the States, we made sure we didn't interrupt her sleep too much. And so we're going live at 3 p.m. today. But wherever you're watching from around the world, please put it in the comments, give us a little wave, tell us where you're watching from. And we'd love to hear from you, because even if you're on the replay, we love to see our international audience. We are the founders of the Connection Hub, which is basically one of our Facebook groups that has over, I think about 10,600 members now, all of speakers, authors and coaches, professionals, publishers, all the various people you want to connect with. So I'll shove a link in the comments for you to join that group if you're not part of our hub, because it's where all the connections and all the conversations happen. And what we want to talk about is basically going through how you can basically make copy work for you and convert into sales, because that's the important bit of copy. So while people are joining us, I'd love for you to work out what the buzz is in your business. Every week we do this feature. We want you to be interesting as business owners, right? When someone says, hey, what's going on in your business? We don't want to be typically British and go, oh, it's all fine. We want you to actually have something interesting to talk about. So while I'm going to tell you about our buzz, have a think about what your buzz is at the moment. This includes you, Rachel, and basically we'll see what's going on. A little jingle there, we love that. A little bit of Jesus Christ Superstar going on. So the buzz in our business at the moment, we've got actually a lot going on. In our membership group, Changemake Essential, we're actually running our annual vision board workshop this Friday. So Helena's is one of Helena's major skills, and I've actually never done one before, which is quite embarrassing. But we're running this whole day training in our Changemake Essential group. So I know some of the members are watching. Give us a shout out and to let us know if you're joining that. We also got our photos back from our corporate photo shoot with Amanda Clark. Some of you have been commenting on some of the pictures in the Connection Hub. And we know that, if you want to get photography done, just go and see Amanda. She just makes it so much fun, and we love her. And then finally, and I'll get the link ready for this, we are running our 5-day avatar challenge that starts on Monday. So that's basically, if you want to learn where to find your ideal clients, how to connect with them, and then how to convert them using great copy, then basically come and join up for our avatar challenge that starts on Monday. And we, lots of you do our challenges, and we love the interaction where we get to see you every day for 5 days, going live and hand-holding you through training. So yes, Joe, Helena's vision board workshops are amazing. And I hope that you're attending, actually, Joe. I haven't seen you register, so I hope that that's going to be one for you. And I've also seen getting the illustrations in your ebook that launches in June. Well done on that. I can't see your name at the moment, so I'm not quite sure what you're commenting on, but whoever that is, congratulations. So, Rachel, before we even get into who you are, what's the buzz in your business?
Ooh, I actually have two buzzes, a dual buzz going on. The first buzz I'm excited about, I had this 6,000 word big think piece on marketing ethics drop out of my head about 2 weeks ago. And I was like, I think that might be a thing. So I've been publishing it, and I've got the first 2 installments out now. And the third one should come out next week or the week after. And I've just been super fascinated to see the conversation forming around it. I'm basically pulling out these trends that I've been spotting in marketing, especially in what I'm calling the third wave of masculine marketing. And everyone's like, I thought I was the only one. I thought I was the only one being driven crazy by these people. And I was like, no, this is a thing. So I saw
your post about that, and I was like, that's so on point, because so many people are fed up of this type of hustle marketing, blah blah blah, and your view on that. So we'll put some links into Rachel's website and blog and stuff, so you can check that out. But this is where you differ from, I think, a lot of our viewers, Rachel, because 6,000 words don't typically drop out of our viewers' heads.
So I'm told.
So what's the buzz for you?
My second bit of buzz is how 6,000 words can drop out of your head in talking to me. I have this wonderful package in my business called Done For You Content, and we're currently enrolling people for Q3, Q4, so the second half of the year. And the long story short of it is you spend 45 minutes content planning with me, and then my team just makes your content happen for the next 6 months. You don't think about it, you don't write it, it just poof appears on your website and in your email and on your social media feeds, and it sounds like you and it converts. So that's what we're quite excited about.
Please stay focused for the next part of the live and not just go off and go, okay, I just need to do my life, let her help me with my copywriting. We will talk about a little bit more about that program and how it works for people, because I think copy is one of those things that people either are too scared to do it themselves, too scared to outsource it, and they're in limbo land of what do they do next. So we definitely were going to cover that in today's live, along with some other great tips, because you are our resident copywriter in Changemaker Central and in the Connection Hub, and I know you support our members really well. We really appreciate the insight that you give and that viewpoint, which, as I say, people that are speakers, authors, and coaches typically aren't trained in writing copy. So we don't have the insight of those nifty way that you just change a couple of words and it's like magic. So, I'm in awe. But tell us a little bit about how you became a copywriter. Tell us about your journey and where you are now and what you actually do.
Sure. So I actually fell into copywriting completely backwards. I didn't know what it was until the day I started doing it. I had gone to university, double majored in journalism and Asian studies because I really wanted to be a reporter. Right. And I did all the things, got the straight A's, interned at NPR, which is like equivalent BBC in the US, very fancy liberal radio. And I graduated in 2008 and nobody was hiring reporters, and they especially weren't hiring reporters in Tennessee, which is where I went to university. So I sent out 200 resumes and I got 0 responses. The only job I could get was unpacking boxes in a warehouse on the 6 a.m. shift. And I was just like, this is not why I went to college. So I stuck that out for 6 months and I was like, you know what? This is not what I'm here to do. So in my 22-year-old brain, I was like, well, they don't have jobs here, but they probably have jobs in Hong Kong, where I had studied abroad. I know, 22. So I decided to just pack up and go. And I bought a plane ticket and I moved to Hong Kong. And it turns out they do have jobs in Hong Kong, but you need this thing called work visa, which I had not considered before I moved there. So I landed with about $200 in my bank account and I had to make rent. And I was Googling like how to make money online because, it's 2008. And I found this thing called copywriting for a content mill because that's how old I am. And I was like, well, I can, I don't know, I can do this, I guess. And I tried it out. It paid me $3.25. So like if we broke that out into an hourly, I probably earned about 5 cents an hour. But I loved it. And it was super fun. And I was like, oh, well, I can kind of do this as my, my in-between job before I get my grown-up life together. And 12 years later, I'm still doing it.
That's amazing. It's funny, isn't it, how so many people fall into their careers by chance and actually go, I really love this. There's lots of stats to show how many people did a certain degree and have done absolutely nothing related to their degree whatsoever. But hey, it's life training. If you're following your purpose and your true north, you're going to be on destination some way or another. Yeah. And where are you based now? Remind us. I know you just moved recently. Where are you based now?
Yeah, right now I'm actually based in the absolute middle of nowhere in East Texas. It's this tiny little town about 2 hours east of Dallas, if that means anything to any of you. But I did spend 5 years in London, which is how Kelly and I met.
Yes, long time ago. It was great. But I am missing the cowboy boots that I can't see that are on screen today, right?
I know. They're very pretty.
Awesome. So when we talk about copy, I think a lot of people automatically go, oh, that's like sales copy.
Mm.
But copy is actually everywhere, right? Especially for the authors in the group, it's the books that you write. It's the
Yeah.
fact that when you're actually doing your social media posts, that's copy. It is the sales pages. There's all these things where copy is surrounding us. So depending on where people are in their journey of where they're listing, and guys, if you've got any questions for Rachel, please ask them throughout and on the replay, because Rachel's in the group and we'll tag her, and she's really useful and really resourceful. But how does copy change to when you're writing a book, to writing a sales page, to writing social posts? Can you give our viewers some insights around that?
Sure. Oh, and I love this so much. You've just given me one of my best soapbox topics. So,
Okay.
one thing that people I think don't realize is what I call the law of scalable content. And it just sort of, I kind of figured this out about 5 years into writing. And what I was realized is that every single thing you write, from a social media post all the way up to a book, it exists on a spectrum. It can all be scaled up or scaled down, no matter where you start. So I'll walk through like what that can look like, and then answer your question more specifically. But
Definitely.
so let's say you have a book, right? Because I know this is more of like a authory type group. If you
Sure.
start with a book, each book breaks down into chapters. Each chapter could be equivalent to a course module or an email series or a really big chunky blog post. And then each one of those breaks down into sections or paragraphs, right? So that can be equivalent to a single email, a single blog post, a really super long social media post if you happen to post that way.
Yeah.
From there, each one of those, you've got your headlines, you've got those standout sentences that you read and you're just like, oh yeah, that's good. That's really good. Those are your social media headlines. And so you can break that down even further. And this is where it gets really fun. If you invert a social media headline into a question, it becomes an opt-in invitation because you got the right answer, right? And that
Yeah.
applies all the way back up as well. So no matter where you start on this spectrum, you can scale it up or down. It just you just tweak it slightly depending on what you want it to do.
So when you're having that range, I mean, this is the ideal repurposing machine, isn't it, really? But when
Mm-hmm.
you're having a book and that's really educating people or inspiring people through the content, then you can change the tone or the tense in order to then turn it into a social media post by using it as a question or using it as in another form, but the
Mm-hmm.
content stays the same, right?
Yep. Yep. That's why when I'm working with my book clients, they're like, I'm putting all my time into writing this book. When will I have time to do blog content? And I'm like, you're doing it right now. Like, it's the same thing.
So when you're working with your book clients, do you encourage them to do that while they're writing their book, or when the book is written and going through it and then reevaluating afterwards?
Both.
Oh,
Yeah. So as we're going through, if they fall onto an idea, they're like, oh wow, I didn't know this was going to be so important to me, or it gets really exciting. Then I'm like, follow that. Let's take your drafts and sort of put them out there with your audience and see how they're resonating. Is this working with them? Maybe this will shift your idea slightly as we go.
yeah.
And then afterwards, once we already have all the content, that's just a matter of, I learned this fancy word for it. It's called content syndication. That's just a matter of taking the content and syndicating it across a bunch of different platforms. But you have this massive body of work that you can use forever.
Yeah. And if you're using something like Publa or Hootsuite or any of those contents, or even the really cool ones like Meet Edgar that repurpose the ones that are the
Yeah.
most engaged posts, you literally have your book and then like a year's worth of content, right?
Oh, easily.
And then how would people do that if they were a coach? How would you help people extract that information if they were a speaker or a coach? It's really great for the authors, but what if people aren't doing a lot of writing?
If you're more of a verbal processor, which is what I find many coaches and speakers are, I either recommend them to start getting things transcribed, or there are fun little programs like Descript, which you can talk into and it will automatically transcribe what you're saying.
Nice.
And I can share a link with you for that. It's really
Definitely,
lovely.
yeah. I'm going to shove in here at the same time is the Otter. We use otter.ai.
Oh, yeah.
And so that's great as well. We use that when we're doing coaching sessions or we're doing webinars and stuff, and that automatically transcribes. So yeah, if you've got a different one, then please, links galore.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So, use that. I always tell people to lean into their strengths. People sometimes think like, I need to write copy and I must suffer through it because that's what the internet says. And I'm like, no, don't ever suffer. Do what works for you. Lean into your strengths, or hire somebody like me to just listen to you and pull the ideas out and then convert it into copy for you.
Nice. So people could
Mhm.
basically, Tara's going, yes, links, please. So people could, if like, you know, a lot of people are now, it's like, well, in the UK, Rachel, we've started to see that little yellow ball in the sky again for the first time. So people are actually out walking and things. So maybe speakers and authors and coaches could go out for half an hour walk, put some headphones in, guys, so people don't think that you're talking to yourself and you're completely crazy, but just talk about a subject that you're passionate about, or you've got questions, or you've got ideas about something that you read in the newspaper that sparks an idea, or on social media, and just have that running. Use a audio dictation sort of, you know, most phones have got them built in, but having that then being able to transcribe, then you've got a whole load of content. Or you can have someone interview you, have a chat with
Mhm.
somebody and have that transcribed, if that's going to help get more of the information out of your system, out of your head, and out onto a dictation machine. So these are things that don't have people hold back because the words themselves, I think, oh, I'm dyslexic, or I'm not good with words, or don't have that
Mm.
hold them back. Yeah.
Oh gosh, no. Yeah, we actually have a lot of clients who are dyslexic or neuroatypical in some way to where words just aren't their thing.
Yeah.
And they get really embarrassed about it when they talk to me. And I'm like, absolutely no reason to be embarrassed. Like nobody needs to miss out on this.
Yeah.
This is for everybody. You know, just because you don't type the words doesn't mean you're not writing.
Great. Glad that you're loving the ideas, Tara. So when one of the questions that I have when we're talking about copy, and I say, oh, you know, why don't you use a copywriter? A lot of people are going, I don't want to outsource my copy because that person who is a copywriter or a tech VA, they don't know my voice. They don't know my content. They don't know my style. And I
Mm,
don't trust them enough to be posting for me and still it feeling authentic and like me. So therefore, they think that they have to do it all. So
yeah.
how do people get around that? Because I know there are lots of people that do just outsource their copy and then basically fingers crossed that it's actually on brand for them. But how can people
Yeah.
overcome that objection?
Yeah. So it's a little bit of an internal game and an external game. I'll start with the external, which is, first of all, there are a lot of really bad copywriters out there who, like, maybe they were a VA 2 weeks ago and now they're a copywriter. And I'm like, you know, like, that's lovely, but you don't want to be somebody's learning curve, right?
Yeah.
So take time to interview, make sure they actually know what they're doing, maybe talk to a couple of former clients of theirs and see what they're like to work with, just to make sure, because, you know, this is a largely unregulated industry. So that's a big
What
one.
would be good questions to ask a copywriter to understand if they are good, how experienced they are? Because there's no like specific qualification that you have to take, is there? There's no industry
No,
standard.
yeah. Yeah. So the first thing I ask actually when I'm interviewing people for my team is, why do you do this? If
Right.
it's just, you know, even if there's somebody who doesn't have a whole lot of experience in actual copywriting, sometimes if they're, you know, they've got loads of experience writing books, or they're journalists, or they've got the writing thing, that's
Yeah.
the first thing that I interview them for, because you can learn the technical stuff, but having that sort of love for it, I think, makes such a difference.
Mm-hmm. Nice. Okay. So the passion and to have some sort of experience, whether that's in journalism or something where they're actually used to writing to word count specifications, looking at the way
Mm,
that they're interpreting the data, the information. So again, it's looking at what you want
yeah.
copywriters to do for you, right?
Yeah. And that's the other part, like being very clear on what you're actually hoping to get out of it and talking with them on that. You know, if you're looking for somebody who is specifically really amazing at conversions because you're about to launch, that's something to talk about.
Mm-hmm.
Just being clear on your own strategic objectives as you're going in and saying, look, this is what I'm trying to make happen. Can you do it? It's a little bit like when you're going to a hairdresser for the first time. If you walk in and you're just like, I don't know, like, do stuff, then you don't know what's going to happen. But if you walk in and you're like, okay, you know, here's
This is what I
how I
want.
do my hair. Yeah, right. Like, here's my inspiration. Do you work with people like with me? I have, weirdly, my hair is straight on the top and curly on the bottom. So I'm like,
Wow.
do you work with weird hair? You know, going in knowing what you're looking for lets you really match really well with them and make sure that you actually know.
Yeah. And do you find, because I know that you have a team of copywriters as well as yourself, do you find that you typically have a different person who does write sales copy that is up for conversion, that's different to a social media person, that's different to someone that's going to help you write your book? Do you feel that you need different copywriters for different things?
For us, I make sure everybody is a solid all-arounder, right? So they can do everything. And there's naturally going to be things that they're just amazing at, right? So we've got somebody who's a fantastic content writer. Her name is Claire. She's a delightful Glaswegian, and she can just get into anybody's voice and really, really do their content. Whereas like for sales copy, we've got somebody else who does that, and they're just like really short and snappy and good with the pithy headlines and stuff like that.
Nice.
So everybody's good. And then if somebody's great at something, then I'll lean into that and let them do a little bit more there.
Great. So that's another great question for people to ask when they're actually interviewing a copywriter is, can you show me some examples of your sales, of your content, and also some of the stats around that? Because that's important, isn't it? What might seem like really good copy for us actually didn't convert at all. So would most copywriters keep that type of information as well? Would they be tracking that?
I do. I don't know. I mean, I'm a massive data nerd. So, I mean, even my testimonials page on my website, we've got all of our stats, because I think right now our averages we've got clients in 21 countries, I think right now.
Wow.
Clients stay with us an average of 4 to 5 years. 87% of clients come to us because somebody else referred them. We've got all this sort of stuff. Our clients, this one's not on the website, but for our email marketing, we keep all these case study stats. One of our lovely clients, I think you actually know, Jenny from Mimosa Beauty.
Oh, say that one more time. You just broke up. Jenny who?
Jenny Lawson from Mimosa Beauty. She's in Essex. I don't know. She's in our circle, but she. Oh, interesting.
Maybe she did. Maybe she's not the hub, but I don't know.
No worries. But she's my lovely email case study. A couple years back, she was doing her sale because she runs a salon, and so she books her stuff in December for the year, and we booked her over $20,000 worth of business in one day with an email sequence. And so that's how, we have all of our lovely case studies. I know, isn't it fun? I love being able to show that to people.
And that's one of the things that really, I know we hit it off years ago when we met, but I know when you revamped your website quite a while ago now, but the fact that it has all of the stats on there around copy was just like, oh, she is speaking to my heart. This is exactly what people need to look at about the types of conversions you need to look at and be monitoring yourself as well as the person you're outsourcing to in order to know what is working and what sometimes it's just a tiny tweak to that headline in the email open or whatever it might be that just converts dramatically what you're actually getting from your sales. And one of the things that I know that I think you launched this year, Rachel, I know you posted about it in the hub, but you've got a system that really helps people outsource their copy and not lose their voice, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So we've got several, I suppose they're workbooks, but really I just call them conversations that we have with people as they onboard and work with us. It's a bunch of really random questions that are actually tied into this super deep, nerdy psychographic research that I do that ties into basic human motivations and a whole lot of evolutionary biology.
Wow.
Which I can soapbox on forever, but they come across as really, relaxing questions. And so the biology is hidden. So, we talk through all those things. And I do all of our intakes. So I get a really good sense of their voice and they care about. And I think that's something that's so, rare amongst business owners in general. It's just having somebody you can sit down with and mirror back like, okay, what do you really want here? Everybody says you need the sales page, you need the social media, you need the whatever. And I'm like, sure, I can do all of that. But copy, pardon me, needs to be an asset for your business. Like you need to make money on it. If you're just putting it up there to put it up there, that's a waste of everybody's time and money. So I want to approach it strategically. I want to make sure that we actually have our metrics so we know it's working or we know it's not working so we can fix it. So it's just going into it with that conversation of like, okay, what do you really want? What are we doing here? What's the bigger picture?
Nice. I've put a link up for the done for you content offer, but can you explain how that works and how that gets over the hump that people have about, well, am I still going to lose my voice, right? Because you're saying about them the people that are working with them are as passionate about their business, and they're really interested. So they want to find out everything they do, and they interview the person that they're working with. But how do they remain with their voice?
I think part of it is just experience. In doing it, the best way I can describe it, when I'm doing it, it feels like writing in an accent. I can hear the person's voice in my head when I'm doing it. I know other people put together things like brand books. They put together lists of words you're supposed to use and not use, stuff like that. But for me, I pick it up through the interview process. And of course, nobody's going to be perfect the first couple
hang on,
times
Rachel.
out the gate. That's why we build several rounds of revisions into all of our work. We'll do the work, my team will create it, and then we actually show a word you would use, stuff like that. So we give them the actual opportunity to train us into that as well. So you're not just, have I disappeared?
Yeah, your internet's unstable, so we missed a chunk of that. And I know there is a delay anyway, but us being in different countries. But yeah, it's like your internet's just fading.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Well, think good internet thoughts.
I know you're in the middle of nowhere, so we're lucky to even get any connection. But yeah, so you were just talking about the fact that you get the feel. As Rachel, she's on a phone, Tim. She can't get reception on her laptop, but she can't plug into the internet. So we're relying on Wi-Fi on her phone, Tim, unfortunately. But let's see how we can keep going. Yeah, so you were just talking about in the interview, you understand the feeling, the emotions, the style of that person, and that's what you pick up on. But when you would create content from understanding, I mean, they would, in this package, they would meet with you. How often would that be to get this content for you?
They just meet the once for 45 minutes at the beginning of the 6 months. We have our intake call. There's a little bit of homework beforehand, which is where I can start pulling out sort of all of that information. We talk through our content strategy on the call, and then every month they have a package of content sent to them for approval, and they can go back and forth with the writing team just to make sure it's perfect and spot on. But usually, honestly, after that first month, they're like, I don't even want to look at it. Just put it out. I don't even need to see it.
This is brilliant, because they'll get blog. What are the assets that they would get on a monthly basis? From that 45-minute discussion, understanding all the psychology in their business and them? What give me an example of what they'd get on a monthly basis as marketing assets, as copy?
Mm-hmm. Every month you get one blog post, one email to promote that blog post, 4 social media shares, so you can share it every week, or you can. Really, internet, really?
Maybe, Rachel, Tim's just said turn your video off and see if it helps with the connection speed. And let us know.
How are we doing, Kelly?
Let me know if you can hear me, because obviously I now can't see anything. Does that work?
Yep. Yep, I can hear you. We doing any better on connection?
Maybe. Maybe not.
Yeah.
Let's quickly tell them what they get in that package, because you were halfway through it. Oh, no, maybe you've gone completely. Rachel?
Maybe?
Oh, no.
Really?
I think it's so funny, because it's like you're now in like a dark tunnel and I can only hear every now and again. So I'm not quite sure whether it's going to work, Rachel, if I can't get you back.
All right, one blog post, one email to promote that blog post.
Okay, we just heard two of the components. So guys, it is on the
4 social media shares, including graphics created by my team. No. I'm still
Sorry,
here.
Rachel. Yeah, you're completely cutting out. So I'm just going to let the guys know that the outline
Let's
of
try
what you
this.
get is in the done for you link in the comments. So what I'm probably going to do, Rachel, if this is the best way to do it, because I know that your internet is poor, is we'll stop here. And I wanted to really get from you your top 3 comments when writing great copy. So maybe let's put your copy skills to good use. And maybe you could actually post some copy around what your top 3 skills are when writing great copy, and we'll make sure that they appear in the comments in all the places this is going and live at the moment. But what I will do is make sure that if you want to connect more with Rachel, actually connect with her and not try and hear her in a darkened tunnel via StreamYard. Her link to her website is I've just put it in the comments here, and you can actually arrange to chat to Rachel, look at her website, look at all the testimonials, look at the services that she offers, and obviously tag her in the Connection Hub, because then she'll be able to answer any questions and speak to you that way as well. We really apologise for the poor connection, but I think maybe we might see some of your magic in your post if you're going to give us the top tips, and we'll link people back to this live later on. But we really appreciate you getting up early and doing this from Texas. And we're really sorry that the connection was so poor.
Absolutely.
But thank you, darling. Thank you for being in our world.
I know. I'm so sorry about that. Yeah.
That's all right, sweetheart. We'll make it work, and we look forward to your top tips post.
All right.
Thanks, darling.